Two tight ends on 2nd and 7. Ward looking to throw for the first time, but now he'll run. He did it 3 times last week. And it was 5 for 14 this year on 4th down. They'll go for it. Ward looking, finds his tight end. It's Gunnar Helm, and a first down for Tennessee to the 32 of Seattle. On 2nd and 9. Ward all day to throw. Nobody open, and Ward throws as he's going down. He finds Chig Okonkwo. Okonkwo fighting for extra yardage. Close to a first down. He's got it. 6 defensive backs for Seattle. Over the middle and a sliding catch made inside the 5. Fake the pitch. Ward looking. Nobody open. Pumps. Ward around the corner, and Ward takes a hit at the 4. Patrick O'Connell with his second big hit of the drive, and it's 4th and goal, and the field goal unit coming on. And the Titans have the early 3-0 lead over Seattle. 5:51 to go in the first. First down for the Seahawks, their first possession of the ball game. And on first down, Walker with a gaping hole over the left side turns the corner, and he picks up 9. Darnold steps up. He's got Barner with room to run. A first down for the tight end, and Moore punishing at the end of the run to the 34.
He can create a little bit of chaos inside for the Tennessee Titans.
On 3rd down and 5, Darnold deflected away from Walker. Good snap and hold. Myers' kick is good.
It really puts the officials in a tough spot.
1 for 3 on 3rd downs in this first quarter. All 3 yards to go or less. Ward on the run, finds an open man, and down the sideline is DK, a big gain, and out of bounds at the 35-yard line. He picks up 25 on... It'll be Pollard trying to sweep the outside, and Pollard going nowhere. Big hit that time from Drake Thomas.
And as a safety will kind of become that second linebacker in their dime defense.
They set up the quick screen. Tajay Spears with blockers in front, trying to find some space.
That way.
He's going the other direction. Looking for the sideline, and he's caught from behind by the aforementioned E-Man Warrior. Play action. Tight end Arroyo with the catch.
I mean, he's on this Seahawks team. Not a lot of stats this year, but really a great asset that they've brought in.
Darnold with time, going up top for Jackson Smith, and Jigba drops it in the bucket, and he will backpedal for a touchdown. What a throw. What a catch. 6 on the board from 63 out.
And he gets on top of Amani Hooker so quickly. So you've got JSN going up against the safety. That's what you want. You're done. You're in trouble right there. He's on top of you. And a really good throw and really well played. I like the way the hand is up a little bit, but you know.
Here comes pressure from Witherspoon. In trouble is Ward. Down he goes. They brought pressure that time. Witherspoon from the secondary, and Byron Murphy ends up with the sack. On 2nd down, there's Jackson Smith and Jigba again, and a first down. 3rd and goal from the 12. Darnold looking for Smith and Jigba, turns, and it's off his fingertips at the 2. And 30-yard try. He hit from 47 earlier. And this kick is good, makes it 13-3. 3rd down and 9 at the 28. Ward over the middle, open, and a first down. It's James Prochet. His first catch of the year, and a big one to get a first down for Tennessee. Now a 3rd and 1 for the Titans. They're 1 for 1 today on 3rd down and 1. Play action for Ward. Floats it down the sideline for his tight end Helm, and he can't pull it in. Looks to be okay, though. Not getting any attention paid to him on 4th and 1. Titans will go. They go with Chestnut trying to push the pile. I don't think he got there.
And you're hoping to get a duo on this. So watch 70. You're trying to get a duo there, and he misses. You can see him come through right there. So as he's trying to get...
Kupp in motion. Quiet day so far for Cooper Kupp. 2nd and 8. Pressure comes. Darnold, outlet to Charbonnet. Charbonnet up the sidelines. He's got a first down and out of bounds.
That's impressive. That's good blocking up front.
Here's Darnold on first down. Jackson Smith and Jigba dancing from the 30-yard line, and a stiff arm out of bounds at the 25. Chase. Here's Darnold on first down. Pumps and throws over the middle. There's Cooper Kupp, his first catch, and a Coop sound. See where Darnold goes with it here. Darnold looking to the end zone for Jackson Smith and Jigba, incomplete, out of bounds. From 36 yards to close the half for Jason Myers, 2 for 2 this afternoon. And the kick by Myers is good.
And clean up some of our pre-snap issues.
Yeah, 0 for 2 in the red zone. Now 1 for 6 the last game and a half for Seattle. Darnold on first down. Flushed, finds Smith and Jigba. Another big play. Jackson Smith and Jigba still on his feet and finally out of bounds at the 20-yard line of Tennessee.
And now getting back to some of those explosive pass plays.
On 2nd and 4, play action. Darnold to the end zone. Smith and Jigba with his second touchdown of the day. 13 yards, and Seattle storms down the field to grab 6 out of the locker room.
Just watch the route. So he's going to win inside. Then he's going to bend outside to give him some space from the safety before he comes back. And just really well-timed, well-thrown by Sam Darnold, but really nice structure in the route to be able to free himself and keep him away from a big hit from the safety.
Uchenna Nwosu back on the field for Seattle defensively. Pressure comes. Ward's in trouble. Williams has him in the sack. 6th sack of the year for the vet Leonard Williams. 3rd down and 2 for Seattle. Over the middle, trying to fit it into Kupp, and it's broken up by Darrell Baker. First punt of the day for Michael Dixon. DK. Backpedaling. Great pump by Dixon all the way to the 12. DK trying to get to the outside. He does. He's got a wall of blockers. DK to midfield and beyond. All the way down the sidelines. DK will take it to the house. Touchdown, Tennessee. A special teams play from 90 yards for 6. To the Titans.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of these where when you get too many people to one side of the field, right? It's a directional kick that way. And you get going the other way. And just look at all the Seahawk players that are trapped on that side. And now watch. There's the Titans. They're all lined up. And it's kind of that pick. And once DK got around that corner, they had a nice little wall set up.
Here's Walker down the sideline. Nice run on first down for Kenneth Walker, the 3rd. He picks up 19.
That's one of the things that Cooper's going to bring to that wide receiver position. It's just not about catching footballs.
Back-to-back big games for Kenneth Walker. He was 6 carries for 18 yards, had 19 and now 11 in back-to-back carries.
They make you stop it in the second half.
Play action. It's Walker out of the backfield. Lots of room. His fullback in front. Walker out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Darnold back to Charbonnet. Bouncing to the edge. Charbonnet towards the goal line. Touchdown, Seattle. 5-yard scamper for Zach Charbonnet to the punt return touchdown.
See, keep an eye right here on Jalen Armour-Davis. I mean, he's going to be the guy that's going to have to make the play, right? Everybody else gets eaten up. He steps up inside, and once he misses, they have nobody that's set the edge. It continued to get transferred down the line, and Jalen Armour-Davis was the last guy who had that.
DK in motion, 4-man rush this time. Ward to the sideline. Open is Okonkwo into Seattle territory and out of bounds.
Not short, but that stocky, physical, we hear the cracks on the tackles.
Here's Ward, a diving attempt made by James Prochet. It is a catch. Ward, pressure from Hall. He'll throw on the run, caught over the middle, and it's Gunnar Helm. 0 for 1 in the red zone today. 1st and goal. The fake, Ward on the keep, weaving up the middle, airborne to the goal line, touchdown Tennessee!
Some nice blocking right there. It's going to be one of those shovel passes, but as Chigo Okonkwo comes across in motion, you know, Cam Ward does a great job of seeing it kind of a little bit cluttered up.
And they use it to gain some field position for their defense. And Darnold, Walker may not have been where he thought he was, and Darnold still trying to make a play, finds Cooper Kupp.
But what he has done, you know, for this team,
as Walker gets into the secondary and another first down.
not just the wide receiver position, but the offense and the whole team. I think they let a game slip through their fingers there. We'll see if they can get some payback later this afternoon down in Texas.
4th and 3. Darnold, pressure up the middle. In trouble, and down he goes. Arden Key with the sack. On 2nd and 6, Pollard up the middle. And he's going to end up a yard short of the first down. Restrepo in motion. Ward on the roll, in trouble, chased by Lawrence, able to get around him. Looking downfield, he'll throw over the middle, open! It's Restrepo at the 25 and a first down. Ward, pressure again, Ward's in trouble, down he goes! Ward.
Oh boy.
All kinds of pressure, flips it ahead to his tight end Gunnar Helm. Helm going airborne. Helm fights his way to the 20, but he is 5 yards short of a first down. No turnovers today for the Seahawks. Darnold missing Cooper Kupp on the sideline. Incomplete, clock down. Quick toss, catch, Van Jefferson. First target and catch of the day, and it's a first down to the Seattle 46. Pickup of 11 for the Titans. 4th and 5. Restrepo in motion. Ward looking. Pressured again. Here's Tajay Spears. Spears with a move. He's got the first down, and the Titans stay alive. Ward over the middle. It's Restrepo to the goal line, and he's down at the 1.
So you got to stay away from the run here in case he gets stuffed.
Ward on the rollout, fires to the end zone, and it's DK with the touchdown. Second touchdown catch of the year for Chimere DK.
Yeah, you can get down here, right? Anything beyond 1 yard, you can see the release right there. When you play that tight man coverage in those situations where you can have those rub releases or the kind of that web release, made it a little bit easy for Tennessee right there to be able to impact the coverage on the inside. On
this is a situation where this team is tight and focused, and they come in and they get the win 30-24 over the Seattle. Seattle gets the win over Tennessee.